Good morning and happy weekend. Is it just me, or did this week seem like the longest week ever? And now we've reached that weekend where the clocks fall back. So now it's going to be like 5:30 in the afternoon and I'll be ready to crawl into bed. Now it was a chilly week here. So, I'm loving it. Okay. Thursday's high was 48 degrees and it's kind of early for South Carolina to get that cold that soon. But I'm not complaining because, like I said, I love it. I am not a summer person at all. And to be honest, I would be happy living in Alaska or like the frozen tundra of somewhere frozen. That's all I could come up with. But yeah, I'd be happy in a cold climate. Now, I took my mom to get her stitches out on Thursday, and it looks like it's healing up pretty good. But on Friday, she decided to pick the scab like a little kid, and the thing started bleeding again. Now, I told her I'm going to have to put some of those little baby mittens on her to make herself leave it alone. But anyway, she's healing up good. She's a little sore. But I mean, she's a lot better than she was 2 weeks ago today. Well, today I've got a couple of, I guess you could say off the wall headlines for you. And I'm also going to be talking about a few missing person cases. So let's get this weekend's episode started.
When weird stuff happens, you'll hear it here. You may not hear about it first here, but you'll still hear about it. And now you're making Weird Falls host, Andrea Lee.
Now, our first story comes to us out of Colorado. Now, I believe that most of us would admit to being at least a little leery of spiders, and most of us clean out the cobwebs around the house when it needs to be done. But get this, okay? A 39-year-old man named John Charles Streckenbach is being held on suspicion of first-degree arson after authorities say he used a blowtorch to clean the cobwebs out of his mom's home. On Monday, the fire department responded to a fire at the home just before 4:30 p.m. When they arrived on the scene, smoke could be seen coming from the roof of the home, and Streckenbach admitted to using a blowtorch to rid the crawl space underneath the home of cobwebs, but things got a little out of control, and he tried to fight the fire for an hour by himself before he even called for help. Now, fortunately, nobody was hurt in the blaze, but it did cause around $100,000 worth of damage to the home. He also, sorry, got choked up on that one. He also faces charges of criminal mischief causing $20,000 to $100,000 in damages, possession of a controlled substance, and violation of a protection order. Now, that violation of protection order stems from a court order that forbids him from being within 100 feet of that house or his mom, but she told authorities that she had been letting him stay there because he was homeless. In New Zealand, a couple was weeding their garden back this past summer, and they found possibly the largest potato on record. Colin and Donna Craig Brown were working in their garden when Colin's hoe struck something just below the Earth's surface. Well, the couple got down on their hands and knees to work on unearthing the giant spud, and at first they were puzzled at what it could be. They even thought maybe that it was some type of like mushroom fungus type thing. But when Colin scratched the surface and tasted it, and yes, you heard me right, he put a bit of that unknown strange object in his mouth, he realized it was a potato. They found that the 17.4 pound potato, they found it on August the 30th, but since then it's become a little bit of a celebrity, and they even named it Doug. They have pictures on their Facebook of them strolling around with the giant potato in a wagon. But they've applied to have him added to the Guinness World Book of Records, but they hadn't heard back from him yet. Now, as you can imagine, a potato with some age on it, like Doug, would start to rot. So they've put him in the freezer, and that's where he'll stay for now. All right, now I'm changing the subject to a couple of missing person cases before we wrap it up. The first one today is 23-year-old Adam Harvey from Abbeville, South Carolina. He stands 6'1", and he weighs around 200 pounds. Now, his mom's desperately looking for him. She says that he's autistic and has special needs. He was last seen on September the 11th of this year at his grandmother's house on Mount Caramel Road. There, and that's in Abbeville too. And since then, he's been without his medication. Now, Adam has red hair and blue eyes, and he could possibly have a beard by now. If you see him, you're asked to call the Abbeville Police Department at 864-366-8451. And in Sumter County of South Carolina, there's a $10,000 reward being offered in the case of 18-year-old Jackson Brent Garcia. He's been missing since December the 26th of 2020. Brent stands 5'11" and weighs around 170 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. He has a history of mental illness, and he's currently not on any medication at this time. If you have any information on Brent, you're asked to call the Sumter County Sheriff's Office at 803-436-2000, or you can leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. Well, that's all I have for today. Don't forget to come back Monday for an all-new episode of Mystery, Murder, and Magic. Y'all have a great weekend.